London. Now, the caveats are all on the table, so we don't need to worry about them. The caveats of if, what, and why and when. You've got to admit, this is a really, really interesting development.
It's a definitely interesting and also convenient development, because if you are married and your other half has run up a rather large legal bill, plus you fortuitously do also want to return to acting and you are famously ambitious, you are actually a self-made woman, you are going to be celebrating the fact that finally maybe all the bits are clicking back into place. I think that if true, this is a great opportunity. And we know that Meghan Markle never saw herself as the smiling first lady type who's off to the side. She is very efficient. She is a self-starter. So this is going to work for everyone, despite the bad news in other areas of the couple's lives.
And let's be clear, there's nothing unroyal about Meghan Markle having a decent acting career. I mean, there have been plenty of royals who've had many different types of jobs. Linley, for example, making his furniture, making a fortune out of his furniture. So it's not like it's unusual, and it's a perfectly respectable profession to be going into. Where I think it's going to get tricky is like today, when they put out this request for the media for privacy. Yes, privacy for the children. Yes, for the school. Yes, for XYZ. But if she's going back onto the boards, then it becomes a little more tricky then.
Back onto the boards. What is this? The 19th century? It's the 21st century. I think we'd be more surprised if any woman in the 21st century didn't have something to do and something to occupy her. That was a vocation. And in fact, I'd strengthen what many actors and actresses have said over the last 100 and more years, which is just because you're an actor and your job is to fulfill a role and to be public in that sense and to have lots of eyes on you, doesn't give everybody full license, including the media, but including ordinary people who are watching you, to gossip over much and speculate over much about the other things that you're doing. I do think that this couple's plea for privacy, in the sense of not wanting scurrilous gossip about their family or their relationships, and certainly not pictures of their kids, I think that's completely fair enough. And I hope that everyone on every side of this abides by normal rules of decorum.
Of course, that would be the norm, and of course the press guidelines and the IPC and all of those sort of things that are in place. Finally, though, there's no getting away from of a potential conflict of three courts: the court of King Charles, the court of the Prince of Wales, and the court of the Duke of Sussex. And I agree fully with you about this idea of security. Clearly, they must, the Sussexes must be, even if it costs me as a British taxpayer as well, dear, because they are entitled to proper security. But there is going to be competing demands for public attention in the royal arena.
This is a really interesting one, because they announced that they were returning to the UK very recently, and they hadn't said anything about it over the previous 6 months, which makes me think that all of these competing courts and stakeholders and interests, including the question of who exactly is paying for these new arrangements, has all been worked out and hashed out personally, politically, and economically in absolute dead privacy and secrecy. And that's why we're not getting any very reliable details about it. I think that they knew that this was going to be an issue, that we would be talking about, okay, so how much is too much? They say they want privacy, but they clearly enjoy being famous. They like to be in public life, but they don't want to do their royal duties, but they are getting closer. They're getting back to the palace, symbolically and literally. I think they must have worked it out and had lots and lots of hard conversations, and a few checkbooks came out and a few tears were shed in a great big melange of the personal and the political and the royal and the civilian.
You are a lot more optimistic than I am about how this is going to work. I'm talking about from the royal side, not the acting side. From the royal side, I have to say you are a lot more optimistic. I foresee this as being a potential nightmare.
Well, it's the never-ending saga that amuses and interests us too much. I actually do think that at the heart of it, just to be very serious for a moment, this is personal. This is about a son trying to rebuild bridges with his father and his brother, and coming back to his rightful place. I'd be interested in what Meghan Markle does now as well, because she is so clearly a professional woman that
Yeah,
this
totally.
Netflix deal, whether it's true or not, it's in line with what I expected she would ultimately do, which is
Yeah.
that I think ultimately she would like to be a figure like Oprah Winfrey or Ava DuVernay or Shonda Rhimes or someone like that, or Mindy Kaling, a kind of powerful media lady, and she's making a step towards that.
I'm grateful for you tonight. Have a lovely weekend. Have a strong and a lovely weekend. Thank you.